Okay, so the person I chose to use this peace building pyramid with is someone I am frequently in and out of the box with. Um, our relationship has kind of been rocky for a while now, and I felt like I remember seeing the turning point. We used to be like, it was like we had a really good relationship, and I remember just it changed, and it changed for a lot of reasons. There was obviously a lot of factors into that, but I felt like I it was unfixable, and that my relationship with this person was just gonna be rocky forever, and that when I did have to move away for school and stuff, that I thought that that was gonna be the end of it. And since I've kind of since I started taking this class, I've kind of realized that it's not over, and that it is fixable, and there's a lot of things that I need to do to fix to change, as well as like they do, but there's a lot of things that I need to fix before they can change. I really like this pyramid because it goes through like the different levels of how to get out of the box, but also how to like stay out of the box. And I think that's like the hardest part of conflict, is that you apologize, but it doesn't, like, it's surface level, and like this really goes deeper. And so I really like that. So this is my pyramid. The first step is to obtain a heart of peace. And it kind of goes back to, you can't bring peace to others until your heart is truly at peace. And it also goes back to seeing the person as a human being. I think for a long time I was so focused on myself and focused on why this wasn't working and stuff, because they were doing this, and this, like all this stuff, but I wasn't realizing that they had a little bit more experience than I did, and that they had done things, they had what am I trying to say, like they had a little bit more like influence in certain areas of our relationship, when I was just seeing all the negatives, and I was just seeing them as this like negative object. I wasn't seeing them as a human. So to obtain a heart of peace, you have to see them as human beings and understand that their weaknesses, some of their weaknesses are my weaknesses as well, which I think is some of the reason why we would struggle a lot, is that we were really stubborn in certain situations, and we both didn't want to budge and stuff. But part of having a healthy relationship is being able to see eye to eye, and yeah, it kind of goes into some of the more like steps later on. But then the next step is to build a relationship with others who have influence on the person. I was thinking about this, and I was like trying to figure out, like, what does this mean exactly? Like, what does that mean? And like, how am I going to do that when I'm thousands of miles, there's like an ocean between us? Like, how is that even possible? How am I going to have influence with others that they're close with? And then I realized that I have been doing this. We both have been doing this when our relationship has kind of been rocky and stuff. I felt like a lot of the time I would just be so frustrated that I couldn't say. I would think of all these things in my head, and I'd be like, this is what I want to say, this is how I want to express what I'm feeling. And then we'd get face to face, and I'd be like, I don't even know, and I'd just be like really bad, and I'd end up saying things that I didn't actually mean. But when I was with people that we were both mutually like comfortable and really close with, I was able to kind of express that and say what my feelings were, and that like what I was frustrated about, and I was able to kind of do that, and they would do the same, and we kind of have like this person like in the middle that could kind of like mediate each other, which is kind of cool because this is a class kind of about mediation and stuff. So I realized that I already do that sometimes when I'm like in the box with people. The next step is to build a relationship, and I was trying to think about this because I'm thousands of miles away. There's a whole ocean between us. How am I going to do this? But I realized that because of today's technology, we have texting, we have call, we have FaceTime, and I can kind of create a better relationship with this person by communicating with them. Because if I cut off all communication with them, I'm not going to be able to build this relationship. So even once a week FaceTime or something like that can really help create a healthier relationship and build something that's not negative but is positive. The next step is listen and learn, and this kind of goes back to something I said earlier, but when I was frustrated and when we were fighting or something, I would be so focused on, like, what am I going to say next? What am I going to say next? This is what I want to say, everything like that, but then I lose it. And I was so focused on myself and what I wanted to get, like, what I wanted to say, when I wasn't truly listening to what they were saying. And so it was just kind of like this surface level. All I was seeing was all the negatives and not really what they were trying to get across and stuff. So I wasn't listening and I wasn't learning anything. I was just like surface level, thinking about myself and what I wanted to say next. And that's not a good way to communicate, which goes into our next point, which is teach and communication. And it ties in with that. Once we're listening and we like learn more about what this person is trying to say, we'll be able to have better communication. I think once I started to realize that this person had gone through some of the similar things that I was going through and struggling with, and that was some of the like root of our problems and our fights and stuff, I realized that maybe I should be talking to them about these things and not fighting them on this. So that's been something that's been really good, is that I've been able to go to them, the person that I'm always in the box with, and get some help with that, and kind of humbling myself enough to ask them for help. And something I've been thinking a lot about as I read this book is that I used to think pride was like, oh, I think I'm better than you, blah, 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 like that sort of thing, like having that kind of, like that mindset, like you have to be able to think that. And I was like, I'm not like that. Obviously, I don't think I'm like better than you or whatever, but like I think I'm worse than, and that I must be seen and stuff. But pride comes in so many different shapes and stuff. It comes in so many different forms. And I think I was so prideful and so selfish in some ways that it was creating a really unhealthy relationship on both sides. And I really think that people can change. I think that people can change, but I do not think that we can change others. I think we can have a really strong influence on others, but ultimately it's up to them if they're going to change or not. That kind of leads to the last step on our pyramid, and that's correct. And I think that's just kind of taking all of these principles, applying them, focusing on our own hearts, and then kind of going to them and trying to fix this. And I think it can really help us to get out of the box with these people that we felt like it was an unfixable relationship, and kind of establish something that's a lot better. But yeah.